Hello everyone. Good afternoon everyone. I'm Supatra. This video I would like to practice pronunciation of English language, and I tell everyone I can listening English language. This topic, 7 topics. Uh, I I understand more 80%. Okay, and I I would like to pronunciation regarding um, topic effortless English rule 1 English phrases. Okay, 3 rules. Speaking English powerfully using the 7 rules of effortless English. Rule 1 is the simplest and easiest to use. Okay, Cr.A.J.Hoge channel. He is American. Okay, I read, I speak transcript. Okay. Hi, I'm Cr.A.J.Hoge, H-O-G-E, okay, and welcome to the first secret or the first rule for excellent English speaking. Now, this whole video course is going to teach you a very different way of learning English, and if you follow every one of these secrets or rules, I promise you, your English speaking will improve tremendously, or as well tremendously. Okay, a lot. You will make big improvements, and I also promise you will enjoy learning English better. You will enjoy speaking it more. You will feel more confident. All of these little things will happen. So let's get started. What is secret? Number 1. Well, secret number 1 is always study and learn phrases, not individual words. All right. So what's a phrase? A phrase is simply a group of words. Doesn't need to be a full sentence. Also, that's fine. But it's a group of words, more than one word. That's a phrase. So this is a very simple rule, simple secret, but extremely powerful. In fact, this is one of the keys to learning and mastering English grammar when you speak. And it's much better than studying grammar textbooks. Okay? So, in your traditional English classes, schools, and books, in your normal book classes that you took before, the normal books that you used before, how did you learn? Well, when you learned vocabulary, you had long vocabulary lists, right? Usually at the back of the chapter, that's a list, and you see the word and then maybe a translation of the meaning in your own language. And you just studied this list of words and memorized them, tried to memorize them for tests, and then probably you forgot most of them. That's what usually happens. So this is a very painful and boring method, right? I mean, nobody likes studying lists of vocabulary words. Good news for you, stop doing it. It doesn't work. You don't need to do it anymore. So, what you do need to do is focus on natural, real English phrases. When you do this, you get free grammar. Let me give you a very simple example, so simply. John hates ice cream. Now, of course, to hate means to dislike, to not like something very strongly. So John hates ice cream. Let's imagine that hate is a new word for you now in the normal traditional way of learning. You would find to hate that version of the verb in the back of the chapter or in the chapter of your book, and I'm not sure. Apostrophe you'd write it down. To hate, it means to not like something, and then you would study that version of the verb. The verb, right? To hate, and then later you would learn all this complicate. I spell complicate, complicated rules about how to change that verb in different situations, right? I hate, he hates, with, and then you would learn the past tense and the future and all this stuff, and you have to remember the basic form of the verb to hate, and then you would have to remember how to change it. That's the old way of doing it, and it's painful and it's boring and it doesn't work because it causes you to be thinking too much when you should be speaking easily and automatically. When you learn a phrase, you just write down two phrases. So first of all, you get your phrase from some natural English, not a textbook, and you write down John hates ice cream. You write down the full phrase. Always, you never write down just one word. You never just write down the dictionary form of the word. You would not write down to hate. You would write down John hates ice cream. And you might put a note to remind you where that phrase comes from. So you might put it comes from a story that you read, or it comes from something you heard, HEARD, in a movie, whatever. It reminds you of the real situation that it came from. Now, when you just study this phrase, John hates ice cream, you never study just one word. You are studying the phrase. You are automatically getting grammar. You don't need to know about singular, or plural, plural, or anything like that. You just will learn naturally by learning phrases like this that you always say. He hates, she hates, John hates, Mary hates. It will become natural. See, this is how native speakers learn grammar. This is how I learned English grammar myself as a child. We don't study grammar rules, and we certainly don't study vocabulary list, but what we do learn from our parents and from other people is we just hear HEAR natural faces all the time. So for me, I naturally feel deeply that if I say John, that that am always going to put an on that John hates, because I have heard faces like that so many times. I feel the grammar. I don't need to think about it, and I feel it because I learned faces, not individual words. No grammar rules, not from textbooks. This is so simply, but it's very powerful. If you use it correctly, but you must do it all the time. So never study a single English word again. Always, always, always. When you learn something new, write down the full phrase, even the full sentence. Super important. Okay. This is very powerful, but very simply. Now, here's the easy way to do it. Go get yourself a small notebook, a face notebook, just a little notebook that you carry around with you all the time, carrying your jacket. Put it in your backpack, and then anytime you find a new word in English, maybe you're something you're reading, something you're listening to, doesn't matter. You're just gonna write it down in your face notebook, but you're gonna write the whole face. So if hate was a new word for you, would not just write down that word hate, you'd you a butterfly. Write down the full phrase. John hates ice cream, or John hates up to you, but you're always going to write down at least 3 or 4 words that go with that vocabulary. Very, very important. Okay, important. And then when you learn new words, you just keep adding to it. Then in the future, when you review, when you're studying, when you're reviewing your vocabulary, you always review the full phrases. Always, always, always. You never study the individual word. You always, always, always review and study full phrases. By doing this, you're going to learn number 1, how to use vocabulary naturally and correctly. You see, sometimes we use certain words in certain situations. There might be another word that means the same things, but we don't use it in that situation. How do you know that there are no rules about that? The only way you know that is by studying phrases that you get from real English. And by real English, I mean not textbooks. Another thing again, you get free grammar. With this, you're just there's gonna be so much grammar in those phrases. You don't need to think about it. It is just gonna be said naturally. If it's a natural, real, correct phrase, the verbs are gonna be correct. The passive, the possessive possessive will be there when there, no there. They are when they need to be. The correct prepositions will be in there. You don't need to think about it. When do I use on and when do I use, you know, when do I use at, when do I use at, you don't need to think about that, just learn phrases. Eventually, you start getting more and more of these phrases. There's a lot of repetition, repetition, and you will start to get a feeling for how these things work in English, how the grammar works, how the prepositions work. When do you use certain vocabulary? When do you not? It happens automatically, unconsciously, meaning you don't need to think about it all the time. It just feels automatic. Okay. This the way children learn grammar and vocabulary, and it's the way you must also. If you want to speak English easily, automatically, effortlessly, so that's it. Very, very simple. Our rule number one, our secret number one is always learn and study phrases, never individual words. All right, this is just secret number one. We have got 7 of them. When you put them all together, you're gonna have a completely new way of learning English. You will get fantastic results. Just follow this secret number one. Always learn phrases, never ever study individual words. See you tomorrow for secret number 2. Bye. Okay, I show everyone enough, and I tell my story enough. Okay, thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Goodbye. สวัสดีค่ะ